Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Iron-Blooded Arms Mobile Suit Option Set 7. So first off, just as always, thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit to share with you guys. This is the first set of this that I'm owning, but I have no doubt in my mind that somewhere down the line later I'll end up buying another one of these sets, at least one more, just because I really like this set. It's got a lot of really cool stuff to like in it, and in my opinion I think it's the best one that we've got so far, but that just all depends on kind of what you want out of the set. This particular set has a lot of things that I like. So we've got the open hands for the Gundam Vidar, we have the short cannons for the Gundam Flauros, or kind of whatever you want really, and then we have the long distance railgun is what it's called. That's for the Regenlays, but again you can also use that for other things as well, just kind of whatever you want really. And then we also have the large railgun, that one again for the Barbatos Lupus, or again whatever. And then the assault knives as well, those ones also kind of meant to be used by the Gundam Flauros, but you can kind of use them for whatever. So I'll show you guys what this stuff how it all looks like on display on the Gundams here in just a moment. But another thing to point out about this set is not only is this set not including a mobile worker, which is I think kind of a welcome break. Mobile workers are nice, but it's kind of nice to just have just a whole bunch of weapons instead. The other interesting thing about this set is that this is the first set that's actually molded in different colors. So we actually have 3 different tones of gray here. We have the main color, which you see is most of there, and then we have this lighter gray for the barrel of the long railgun, and then another kind of medium gray color there for the kind of ammo belt there, going from the ammo container to the actual long railgun there. So doesn't really matter too much if you're going to be painting it, but if you don't paint, then I think that will give you maybe a little bit more incentive to buy this kit, because it is actually molded in a couple different colors, which is nice compared to some of the other sets that we've seen, things like that. So as far as stickers, the only stickers that we have for this are just the 2 stickers, the 2 blue stickers there that cover up the hand covers for the hands for the Gundam Vidar. You don't really have to use those. If you're going to be using those on the Gundam, you can just switch out the blue pieces, or again just paint them. So let me just go over some of this stuff here one by one and show you what we have to work with. So here's a closer look at those open hands. A lot of really nice detail in there. I think the overall shape of these is quite nice. Just makes me wish that the 1/100 scale open hands were a little bit more like this, instead of being the ugly lifeless things that they are. But we can just pop off the hand there, pop this new hand onto there like so, and then we've got a nice open hand that is apparently a little bit loose. Let me try on the other side here. This one is also kind of loose, unfortunately, so that's too bad. But one way that you can fix that, of course, is just putting a little bit of glue or paint or something on the ball here, let that dry, and then that should be tighter in the hand. For now, anyway, he is going to be just little Mr. Floppy Hands there. Then we have these assault knives, which are pretty cool. These are meant, again, to be used by the Gundam Flauros. Just for the sake of demonstration here, I'm going to use this with the Gundam Vidar. The weapons will just fit into the hand the same way, so it doesn't really matter which Gundam you use it for. They all pretty much have universal size hand openings, so that can just be held in the hand like so. And everything seems to be falling off my Gundam Vidar here today, but anyway, you get the idea. There's that. I'll have to fix this guy up here before we move on. That's better. So as for my verdict on the open hands and the assault knives, I gotta say, they cool. I mean, the open hands, yeah, it would have been nice if that piece was blue instead of a blue sticker. The assault knives, there's really nothing too bad to say with them. I guess maybe it would have been cool if there's like some way that you can attach them onto somewhere. They do have the hole in the side of them, which makes me wonder you could maybe just very easily make some way to attach those onto somewhere on the kit by just using a piece of bag, just cutting off a little bit of part of the runner, and just glue that onto the kit, and there you go, you've got a little peg there you can plug on the assault knives, just with that little hole in the side of the knife, or I guess like the top of the knife. That would be a very easy solution. You could also set a magnet inside there, which would be also probably pretty simple. So I'll have to maybe think about maybe doing a video on that or something. Alright, so next we have the long railgun. Again, this one is nicely molded in 3 different colors. We have one handle here, which will slide all the way 180 degrees, left or right. This handle here on the top, which will flip forward and back, pretty much 180 degrees. This whole thing can actually fold down like that, so if you wanted, I guess, to have it like folded off to the side, then I don't really know how you would have to. You'd have to kind of figure out a way to attach this. So the way that this actually attaches onto the regimental lay is actually at 2 points. So you have this ammo container which will attach onto the back skirt. And you have this piece here as well, which you really don't have to use, I guess, if you really didn't want to. But this will just plug onto one of those attachment points on the regimental lays. In this case, you're probably going to want to use it on the side skirt, but you could also attach this onto the shoulder armor or whatever. If you remember, this has a lot of those kind of attachment points on it. So let's have a look here. So here's what I meant, just these holes here on the top of the shoulders and on the side skirts. You have them like on the back skirts there as well, and all around on here. So you can just attach this part here into the back skirt first. And as you can see, you could actually have this going off to either side. So actually, if you had 2 of these, you could have one going off to either side. I think would be a kind of cool thing to do if you wanted to. And then we can just bring this around here, and let's see. Holy moly, god damn, I gotta tell you guys that I literally just spent like 10 minutes trying to get this thing to hold this weapon, which is so disappointing because I really love the look of this mobile suit and I really love the look of this weapon, but it is very tricky to get this thing to hold it. I mean, I'm trying to get it attached onto the side skirt and the side skirt comes off, and then I'm trying to put the side skirt back on, and then the attachment piece between the side skirt and the gun comes off the gun, and then I'm trying to attach the chain onto the ammo container on the back, and then that pops off because the part that's supposed to bend is too rigid. It's not as soft as it needs to be for how close that is. That ammo belt is just too long. And then the front part of the rifle comes off, and then the whole arm came off, and then put that back on, and then the hand came off, and then trying to put the other side on, and then the other arm came off, and the other side skirt came off. Everything was just falling apart. The whole thing was just crumbling as I'm trying to get this thing to get into position. But don't let that dissuade you. I don't really hold too much against the kit like that because it can do it finally. I mean, the time that it takes to make a pose, I don't really see that as too much of a deal breaker in terms of buying a kit. It just means it takes a little bit more work to get it in the right pose. If it can eventually do the pose, then that's the important point. And I mean, it can eventually get into the pose that it sort of needs to be, and I still think this pose could use a little bit of work. One thing that I would maybe suggest is just maybe don't use the connection piece that connects the railgun to the side skirt. You really don't need it. It has 2 handles. You really probably don't need that extra connection piece. I really don't see kind of the point of that. I mean, in terms of the realism of it, just to provide like extra support there, it kind of makes sense, but just in terms of trying to pose it, it's just going to make your life more difficult, and you don't need that. Nobody needs that. So that's just my advice for you. Anyway, it is still a cool gun, I think. Alright, the next thing we're going to be looking at is the short-barreled cannons. These are, again, very, very similar to the cannons that are seen on the Gundam Flaros already, but they're just, obviously, just short. And so with these, we have some connection pieces. So one is for the left, one is for the right. They are opposite pieces, so you can attach these onto whichever Gundam you want, or attach them onto, the side of something, or whatever kind of you want to do, whatever, you can get creative. So the one thing these are going to be missing is the stickers, which this Gundam has. So we'll just kind of take this I have the Gundam Flaros here, we'll take off its long cannons. And with this Gundam, you don't really need these connection pieces because you just don't need to. The peg's already there for them. But you could use those connection pieces to attach these onto the back of the Gundam Barbatos or the Vidar, for example, because it has some pretty silly backpack. It has a silly backpack going already, which is not really all that great. So I'll just attach these onto this guy here, just for example. So there we go. That's how the Flaros is going to look with those on. And then you can actually just connect these like this, the same way you did with the long cannons, if you wanted to have those connected like that. And if you wanted to put it in shelling mode or something, you could do that as well, but I'm never going to put this in shelling mode again. And then the last thing to look at here is the large railgun. Now this one I'll also be demonstrating on the Gundam Flaros. The manual shows it with the Gundam Barbatos, but just for the sake of not having too many Gundams out here, I'll just keep it with that. So the handle is here, so it's held like under the hand. I guess if you wanted to hold it like that, you could. The handle will kind of be going the wrong way. You could sort of modify that pretty easily. Just cut that off and glue it back in the opposite direction. But anyway, it's supposed to be like this. The barrel can actually extend like that, so that slides out, gives you significantly more length in that, which is pretty nice. And then these handles here on the side, you have one on each side. Those will fold out 180 degrees each, whichever way you want to do those. And there's supposed to be a little camera there, I guess, but there's no sticker for that. And then we have this connection point here, which you'll recognize that is for attaching that onto like the mechanical arm of the backpack of the Gundam Barbatos. Again, which is another reason why this would be good with the Barbatos, but I really don't think you're going to need that, so I really won't bother with that, but you can do that if you want for extra support of this. But I really think with the one handle there and then a secondary handle is going to be more than enough support for any kit to hold this up perfectly fine. So let's see if we want to put this in the hands of the Gundam Floros here. I'll just take off his hand first. I suppose the problem I didn't really anticipate with this Gundam is that it has the shield on the underside of its arms, which is going to kind of be in the way, but I'll try to work around that here in this case, just for demonstration's sake. Alright, so even with those shields on the arms, it really wasn't too much of a challenge to get this guy to hold this big old gun. The one actually thing that I didn't notice is that because this gun is so large below the arm, that does actually kind of get in the way of the leg. So if you see like the leg underneath the large railgun there is actually, I wanted to actually pose that actually a little bit more out to the side, but couldn't because the gun is so large under the arm there. So that is one thing I guess sort of to think about. Shouldn't really be too big of an issue depending on the pose that you want to do. But overall, I say these are probably some of my favorite weapons. Like I said, I really love the long railgun, but it was such a pain in the ass to try to pose. This one was much, much easier, and I really like this one as well. This is probably one of the reasons why I'll probably buy another set of this, is just because I want another set of these weapons. I really like those short cannons, and it's really nice that we have the two connection pieces that you can plug those onto the back of pretty much any HG kit in this line. Pretty much all the mobile suits have like those connection ports in the back of them, especially all the Gundams. So you'd be able to use these with pretty much anything, which is nice. So it'd be really simple to modify them to use with anything that doesn't have like already pre-made holes in there for those. And then the same thing with that cannon as well. I think that would look really good with a lot of kits, not even just Iron Blooded Orphans kits, but like some HGUC kits or something like that. I could definitely see using one of those large railguns for something other than Iron Blooded Orphans kits. So these are really, really nice. So overall, I'm going to have to give this kit a big thumbs up. I definitely recommend picking up this option set if you're a big fan of big guns. This kit definitely has a lot of those, and as well as some other nice smaller things. Those assault knives and hands for the Gundam Vidar, again, are really, really nice. You could definitely use those hands for other kits as well, I'm sure, with very minimal modification, if you need to modify anything at all. I haven't tested it yet, but I'm sure you probably could do that if you wanted some open hands for your Gundam Floros or, you know, anything else pretty much. So that's pretty much it for this review, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. If you already saw anything about this set, you probably could have made up your mind pretty easily. It's a really cool looking set with some really cool weapons and accessories, so definitely recommend picking one up. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, you can leave those down below. Otherwise, see you guys next time. Bye bye.